Two. Alrighty, hey everyone, welcome back to another special episode of the Cinematography for Actors podcast. We're live from the VIP Lounge at the TCL Chinese Theatre for the 19th annual Oscar-qualifying HollyShorts Film Festival. I am here, your co-host Jack Gibson. I'm here with the phenomenal co-founder Indiana Underhill. How you doing?
I'm great, and most impressively. Least impressively. No, just kidding. Most impressively. I thought I'd have fun with it, but it wasn't going to be funny, and then it came out anyway. Florian Anderson is with us as a co-host, who's like one of my idols in life by everything she does in the world, which is so many things, including writer, director, and actor. And then who's our wonderful guest sat beside Florian?
Yeah, we are with the director, Brian Starzec.
Nope.
Richie.
Wow,
I'm so sorry.
New name.
I am
Oh my god.
so sorry.
Because I was going to make a whole
one
Richie
before.
Rich joke, and then
I
you just said
really-
Brian, and
the
I was
whole thing
like,
with
That's
Florian
great. No, I
really
love
threw
that.
me off
I
my
could
game. It
tell
was so
he was
confusing. I
having
am
so
so
much
sorry.
anxiety around
I
Florian
immediately
and
lost my
Florian now.
with the director of the Sparks music video. The girl is crying in her latte. Richie Starzec.
Richie
How you doing?
Starzec.
I'm
Richie
good. I'm
Starzec.
good. You know what? All the tension that I had just
It's gone.
dissipated
You should have
completely
known.
because of that. So thank you. Thank you very
That's
much.
why I did it. It was planned.
That's
Indy
what I
and I
figured.
talked about it beforehand.
Yeah.
That's the story we're going to go with. So, can you tell us the log line of the music video
What
itself?
was your idea behind it? Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a very simple video if you watch it. It is literally Cate Blanchett standing in the foreground, dancing
In a yellow blazer?
in a yellow Stella McCarthy jacket, I believe, and suit. And she's dancing wildly while Ron and Russell Mael, who are the two members of the Los Angeles-based pop duo Sparks, are kind of in the background doing their own Sparksian physicality, so to speak.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have a
love that.
question because I need to know if this was choreographed or completely improvised dancing.
A little bit of both.
Okay.
So essentially how this all came together was that I had met Ron and Russell on the Edgar Wright Sparks documentary that was released a couple of years ago. And I'd kind of become close to them in the process. And they emailed me on a Friday morning and said, "Hey, Richie, are you in town this weekend? We might be filming something. We would love your help." Which is a very vague statement.
Yes.
And I kind of responded. I said, "Yeah, I got a couple things here and there kind of planned, but, what's up? How's it going?" And then they called me and they said, "Look, here's the deal. We met Cate Blanchett a few months ago, found out she was a huge fan of ours, and we kind of just bit the bullet and emailed her blindly and said, 'Hey, would you like to be in a music video for us?' And she said, 'Yes, absolutely.'" And so the initial idea that they had, because they're very low budget, DIY songwriters, filmmakers, all that, they kind of will hire people to create videos for them. They'll do bigger budget things every once in a while, but they don't mind getting down and dirty,
Cool.
So they told her, "Why don't you just film yourself on an iPhone dancing to the song, send it to us, and we'll just cut that footage together with something else. We'll figure it out. We'll take it from there. We don't want to take up too much time of yours, just do your own thing." And so she did that, and she sent it to them, and I guess she said, "Hey, I really don't like this, and I really would love to do this in person with you guys. I'm actually going to be in LA for 48 hours this weekend if you guys want to film something." And they said, "Yeah, definitely." And then called me and said, so she's in town tomorrow.
Are
Are
you
you
available?
We don't have any crew. We don't have a location. We don't have anything. Are you interested? And I, kind of batted my eye and said, "Definitely. Let's do it."
Why not?
And what ensued was a 24-hour period that can only be described as wild and chaotic. But long story short, we got a location down, this amazing place called Hype Studios in Silver Lake, which is like a photography type space. And I got there a few hours early with Ron and Russell. We kind of plotted out what we were going to do. We knew Cate was going to dance, and we kind of left all that to her. We knew that we were going to stage her in the foreground in some capacity, and that we might try to shoot a couple angles, do a couple dynamic things with it. And basically, we kind of realized we're going to be pretty crunched for time with this. So we're just going to let the form follow the restrictions that we have and just keep it very sparse, locked off camera. It was an iPhone for the record, and just shoot it as is and let the guys do their thing, Cate do their thing, and then let everything speak for itself.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty amazing.
Very wild.
Yeah, the way that it was, you ended up choosing all of the technical decisions. I mean, it was shot on an iPhone, as you said, all of these things. Was there anything within you that wanted to fight against the amount of like, it's locked off, we're gonna see what happens, like, trust the process, it's gonna be on an iPhone, I'm gonna be happy with how that looks. Is everyone else? I think everyone's gonna be happy. Like, was there a whole like trying to fight yourself against that?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think it goes without saying that when you have an opportunity like this, you kind of want to take a couple more risks and do something that feels maybe a little more bold. I think the video is bold in and of itself.
Fun too.
And it's fun, but it definitely had a little drive in me where I was like, oh, it would be fun to have it like be a moving camera, maybe move through the space, do something, you know, still keep it a oneer maybe, but try to be just a little more kind of, you know, pushy with it in some way. But, you know, it was just one of those things that kind of solidifies that simplicity sometimes is actually the stronger choice,
Right.
you know, and when you're making something, especially with smart collaborators, it doesn't have to be something grand in order to have the same like kind of punch, you know?
Yeah. Okay, Brian. Richie.
Yes.
And so was the wardrobe, was that just all like she brought her jacket, or was that?
She rocked up hair and makeup ready from a shoot for Time magazine, I believe it was, and she brought 3 suits with her.
My
and
hero.
I cannot stress this enough that she was so cool and so down to earth, and like she didn't have a team with her. You know, she was doing this because she liked the band.
Yeah.
The band was so grateful. You know, we were all grateful. And she literally brought those suits and said, which one do you want? And I think all 3 of us at the same time were like, the yellow one. Like, it
Nice.
just kind of screamed, this has to be on camera.
So how long did you actually have to shoot it? How long were you doing? How many takes? How long were you how long were they dancing for?
So we rehearsed it a bunch beforehand with the guys just to kind of make sure that they felt good about the actions. You know, she obviously was going to be relatively stationary and just dancing there. And they're pretty minimal as well, but we still have them doing a couple different, you know, quirky, Sparksian things. And we just want to make sure they were comfortable with it and happy with everything. And they kind of talked it out amongst themselves, made sure that they were satisfied with what they were doing. And, you know, internally, I was kind of thinking to myself, this almost feels too good to be true. I'm not really going to believe this is happening until Cate Blanchett walks through those doors.
Yeah.
And finally she walked through those doors and I was like, okay, this is really happening. And so, you know, we explained to her, hey, here's your mark. We showed her one of the rehearsal takes and said, you know, do your own thing. You know, if you have any questions or comments, let us know. We can do a run through if you want. She was like, let's just do it. And we were like, great, okay. So we shot it 2 times through and felt relatively good about it. But my monitor is an iPhone.
Yeah, I was gonna
yay
ask,
big.
yeah.
I'm also,
Yeah.
Cate Blanchett is staring me right in the face because she's looking right at camera and I'm doing this. So I'm like, I think it looks good, but I'm not really sure. And we told her we would do 3 takes max, and she was tired because she had just flown over from London, I believe. She was doing a whole press junket. And so I asked for one more take, and I think she was definitely tired, but she was game. So we
Cool.
did one more. And the moment that was over, I was like, one of these is good. You know,
Yeah.
you can tell it in your bones. And I
Right.
said, cut and everything. And of course we ended up using the second take, as that's how it always works out. But you have Cate Blanchett for a short amount of time. You got to shoot 3 takes if you
Yes.
say you're going to shoot 3 takes. You
Yeah.
know?
I as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now, what is your previous directing experience like in comparison to this music video?
Sure. So I most of the stuff I've worked in before has been short form films,
Okay.
stuff that you would probably see at other HollyShorts or other different festivals across the country. I did one music video back in 2015 that ended up just not working out because of some production issues and everything. And that had kind of turned me off from music videos for a little bit. I kind of had not any sort of antagonism, but there was just creative differences with the artist and choices that they made
Yeah.
that I kind of felt, okay, we can try to make this work. And we did the best we could, but it ended up just not looking as good as anyone wanted.
Right.
And, you know, so it kind of was like, all right, well, that was a bit of a failed experiment. And I wasn't really into music videos for a while because of that. But honestly, this has kind of reinvigorated me because
Yeah.
it also helps that Ron and Russell, who are incredible musicians and very, very, very on top of what they want, what their vision is and everything, that it kind of reminded me that there is good collaboration to be found in music videos.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And with because, you found a lot of this through your past collaboration and like the meeting on the documentary for Sparks. For filmmakers that are listening and attending the festival, can you talk to the ability to network or build a community around you and kind of how to make it more accessible for yourself, especially living in LA?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I get this question a lot from younger people who, hit me up and want to meet for drinks or coffees or whatever. And a lot of them ask kind of, how do I navigate through this town? How do I network? How do I do all this? And my advice is kind of always the same, which is just, first off, you got to give it time. LA is a tough city, and you can't really move here for 6 months and say, well, I gave it a shot, I'm out of here. You kind of have to give it at least a couple year commitment. Meet people, build a community, meet other creatives. And, just especially early on, take any job that you're offered. You can always leave a job, or a job always has an end date. Meet more people, figure out who you like, figure out what you don't like on set, figure out what creative choices you don't like, you do like, and just plant those seeds, and let them grow. And eventually, if you're a smart, capable person, things are going to work out in the end. Someone, will be calling you one day and be like, hey, we're filming something with Cate Blanchett tomorrow. Do you want to direct it with us? And it's like, oh,
It's
yeah,
that simple
absolutely.
sometimes.
It's that simple, honestly. It
Yeah.
really, really is.
Awesome. Richie, thank you so much for joining
Of course.
us.
Thank you for having me.
Such a pleasure. Jack, do you want to sing us out?
I'm going to leave all the singing to Sparks, which beautifully you can catch this. Has it already screened?
It's already screened, but it is on YouTube.
Yes.
Very easy
YouTube.
to find.
Is it? I imagine it's probably also on bitpixtv.com, which is the virtual accompaniment to the festival. So go watch it. Have some fun. Watch Cate Blanchett and the wonderful handiwork of Richie, now Brian.
Richie Brian
Starzec. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
And if you ever see Richie in public, please say Brian so he knows that you've been watching him on our podcast.
It's true.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. This has been another episode of the Cinematography for Actors podcast. Follow us on wherever you listen to your podcast to keep up to date on new episode releases. We will be live through August 20th here at HollyShorts Film Fest. If you're here, drop in and say a little hello at the VIP lounge. We also want to thank our sponsors, Apogee, Film Tools, Roscoe, Lightstone Rentals, Canon, and First Mile Tech. As a special gift to you listeners, we've partnered with We Make Movies to get you a discount on comprehensive production insurance packages. Use code CFA23 on your intake form for 10% off your quote by visiting wemakemovies.org/insurance.
If you missed any of our live streams, you can watch all of our interviews on our YouTube channel, Cinematography for Actors. And make sure you follow us on Instagram at Cinematography for Actors. You can also catch us in a more formal setting on Monday, August 14th at Japan House for a panel discussion on the importance of bridging the gap between talent and crew. You can get 20% off of your ticket purchase by using the code HSFF2023CFA at checkout.
Thanks!